I want me some Gloryhole.
Oh, yeah. Hello and welcome to the Football Gloryhole podcast. Whether listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, SoundCloud, YouTube, or on iHeartRadio, we thank each and every Gloryhole seeker for tuning in this week. I am your host, Bo Cephas, and I'm joined as always here on the sports patio by my good buddy Longhorn. Longhorn, what's up, buddy?
All right. Bo Cephas, it is college football bowl season and NFL week 15. Now, most people think the season is winding down, but there are plenty of weeks left for winning, and the football glory hole is trending up as always. We're going to load you up with all the winners this bowl season and finish the NFL season strong. So go to our website, thefootballgloryhole.com, and hit us up for all those premium picks so you can bet football the right way, the winning way, the football glory hole way. Y'all know the drill by now. We will make you laugh. We will make you cringe.
Holy Santa Claus shit.
But most of all, baby, we will make you a shit ton of money.
Woo! 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 Ow! Love that money.
People, you cannot beat our prices, and you will not find a more consistent winner in the market. And don't forget to check out our show on YouTube called The Degenerate with world-famous R.J. Choppy from 105.3 The Fan.
Murray and against Zana, left side, swings this one Holloway for three, and I set fire to the rain. Watched it pour as I touch your face.
Now, with all that business out of the way, welcome to the world's #1 football capping podcast. Bo Cephas, as always, here on the sports patio. We got the TVs glowing. We got the beer heavily flowing, and right now it's everybody's favorite part of the show. My friend, tell the people all about your horrible, fucking disgusting Kobe hip choice of the week.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Today I'm drinking a Shiner Cheer. It's my favorite Christmas time beer, and it does mean it is Christmas time, which is my favorite time of the year. Christmas is my favorite holiday. I love going around doing charitable works. I pass out turkeys and Tonka trucks like it's going out of fucking style, baby. No. But I can't take out all the credit because my buddy right over here across the desk, he is a very charitable man himself. He does a little bit different charity. His charity is more in the penile region. He likes to spread his loving around the neighborhood to all the young ladies. And if there was a Santa Claus of sexual contest, it's you, my friend.
No, see, everybody's onto this bit right now, but if that were true, and I were to spread the Longhorn joy around the neighborhood, I would certainly. I believe you have 2 sisters, is that right? If you could just send me their addresses, and I'll just be sure to make a pit stop in there.
Oh, man, little Santa spreading his loving all over town. All right, boys and girls, we're going to get into episode number 52. And right now, we're going to go over our sponsor. And this week and every week, our sponsor is BetAnySports.eu. I said BetAnySports.eu. It is the only place to go for online gambling. All sports, like the name suggests. If there was an over or under how many young ladies at Longhorn would check under their trees, if you know what I'm saying, you could probably lay it down there. They got poker, full casino games. They advertise reduced juice, -105 in most situations. Same-day payouts. They welcome Bitcoin. They advertise the widest selection of props, parlays, and teasers on the internet. People, go to BetAnySports.eu. Put in code word Gloryhole. You get a 35% sign-up bonus today. What does that mean? It means you deposit $1,000, you get back $1,350. You use their free money with our picks. You're winning money. You're winning their money. You're winning both ways, baby. BetAnySports.eu. One more time, I said Sports.eu, code word Gloryhole.
I'm gonna parlay your sister and your mom.
And now it's time for the good.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Well, that's just
fucking great! That's just fucking great! The bad.
Is this bad? Is this bad?
Well, that's fucking not good.
And the are you fucking kidding me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
God damn it, are you fucking with me?
Alright, boys and girls, and as always, we start with the good, and the good last week was fucking us in the Super Contest, baby. 3-2, and I know that contest is not exactly going the way we wanted it to this year, which is really, really frustrating, seeing the fact that we're over 60% in the NFL, well over it actually, but for some reason, we can't ever seem to figure out which 5 winners to put in the goddamn contest, and that's why the contest is hard to do, it's hard to win, but you do have to be good and lucky to get your best 5 in there consistently for 17 weeks.
Wait, we're hitting 60% in the NFL on premium picks, and we're hitting what, 57% in the Super?
Yeah, we're about 4 points off from where we're actually at.
So if we were hitting 60% in the Super, because then we're only like what, 7-8 games back of first place in the Super contest.
Yeah.
If we were hitting 60%, how many games back would we be?
Probably closer to 4.
Oh my God, we'd have a shot at it. Well, one of these years you will see the football glory hole holding a big, oversized Happy Gilmore check for like $1 million, and we will win this thing one of these years.
All right, we're gonna move on to the bad, and the bad last week has to be the Jacksonville double loss to the Chargers. Not only was it a double loss, the side and the total, but good God, that game was never competitive from the opening. I don't think the coin flip was competitive. Holy shit, that was bad.
Real ugly.
And now we're going to move on to the Are You Fucking Kidding? And this week, that one is a personal one of mine. Guys, if you've been listening to us and you follow us and you pay for the premium picks, we don't do the parlays, the teasers, and all that kind of stuff because that is not a growth wealth strategy. However, whatever you do on your own side and your own book, that's up to you. And on our personal books, we do little stuff like that. And this last week, what I always like to try to do is find, something kind of like a big bang bet, but something I also think that have a chance to hit. So last week, I had a 4-game underdog moneyline parlay. I had the Bears, which they beat the Cows on Thursday. I had the Broncos. They went to Houston and boat raced them. I had San Francisco. They won probably the game of the year in New Orleans, right? And then, so my last leg, I had 3 out of 4 down on a 50-1 underdog parlay. My last leg was Arizona. All I needed was that stupid midget to fucking beat Pittsburgh, who scores, 14 points a game. He's got a chance to do it. They're down there. They've got a chance to score. He could have just walked it in the end zone. Instead, he tries to throw the ball across his body. TJ Watt picks it off. That's pretty much it. They did get one last drive to try to do it, and they literally didn't gain a yard. Oh, I'm so fucking done with him and Coach Bro. And by the way, if you've been listening to us, you know we weren't really ever big fans of that coaching hire or that selection at quarterback, and that is fading very, very quickly. I'm not saying they can't come back and make some adjustments for next year, but as far as like the little bit of time success they had, the NFL has already pretty much figured them out.
Yeah, just to get into that little bet that you made, like obviously we don't suggest parlays, but if you're going to do parlays, I love the low risk, big reward type stuff like that. So, I know some people will package together some of the underdog sounders that we hit and put those together, and you can bet a very low amount, and if they all hit, then it's a big payout. Now, quick note to the public and to you over there: if you hit your first 3 of 4 on a parlay, or you hit your first 4 of 5 on a parlay, and you're sitting on the last game to win, you should be getting paid on that, because you can always hedge the last bet and at least get half of your money. Or if you feel that good about it, you can just let it ride. But I would always suggest hedging that last game, take half of that huge payout. So don't be stupid like Bo Cephas, and if you get to the last game, hedge it, cash your ticket, and move on.
All right, boys and girls, now it's time you've all been waiting for. It's time to get into all those wins coming in the air tonight, baby! Longhorn, this week we're going to start in that miserable city of Detroit, where those god-awful Lions play, and Tampa Bay comes calling here 5-point road favorites.
Yeah, I don't really like this game at all. It's a bad one to start the picks off here, but Jameis has a thumb injury that occurred in last week's game, and reports are that he was throwing tennis balls on Thursday and was throwing footballs on Friday. I have not looked up the latest reports on that, but bottom line, he is clearly going to be going into this game hampered in one way or the other. He already has a pretty big tendency to throw the ball to the wrong team. Now, the steam is going with Tampa against Detroit. And, Detroit's dealing with their own rash of injuries. They got injuries all over both sides of the ball in this game, too. It's a pretty ugly game to me. I really don't want any part of this game. If you got anything over there, take it away.
Well, Detroit is 5-2 as a dog of 3.5 to 10 and 7-3 at home versus a losing team. They didn't quite get the cover for us last week. They did get the push. They did have a chance at the end to get the cover. David Blau just couldn't quite do it. And Tampa Bay as a favorite is 1-10. Is 1-10 as a favorite of 3.5 to 10. So a lot of good trends going for us. The numbers are going for us. And I know that you love Detroit going into the season. Man, were you wrong about that. But
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you're terrible.
No.
But they are better. They are better than, in all fairness, they are better than what their record suggests, and they've covered at a better clip than what their record is. And Tampa Bay's covered actually at a way worse clip than what their record is. And Jameis, like you said, already throws about 3 picks a game, I think is what he's averaging this season. He's got a broken thumb. It's probably not going to end up well for them. I think Evans is out as well. So, yeah, let's go Lions. Mm-hmm. All right, moving on. Those Philadelphia goddamn dirty Eagles are going to Washington, and they are now 6-point road favorites.
Okay, now we're on to a game that I actually do like. This one is a pretty easy handicap for me, and matter of fact, for the first time I believe all year on Washington Redskins. You can hit that sounder, Bo Cephas. I am taking Washington to straight up win this as an underdog. Philly and Dallas are two of the worst teams battling for a division. Like, one of these two shit-ass teams is going to be in the playoffs. It's just embarrassing for the NFL. Not only are they going to be in the playoffs, they're going to need a fucking home playoff game. So that's just an atrocity. Washington has looked much better since the coaching change that they made several weeks back, and they've committed to the running game. And the defense has made some serious strides. In the last 8 games, they're allowing only 19 points per game. I really don't know who Philly will have on offense to scare Washington at all. I look for a slow, just lots of punts, grinding out game with Washington winning in the end. But this is going to be a double lean for me. I lean to Washington and the under. Everything kind of leans up perfectly for me in this game. So Washington and the under.
Man, it is. Vegas expect this to be an ugly game. The over-under is 39. And if you're wondering, I think that's about the second lowest total that we've seen all year long. So Vegas is expecting to be exactly what you said. Low scoring, lots of punting, lots of terribleness. If you were watching the Philadelphia game last week, which we did have, who did we have against them last week?
Against Philly.
They covered.
Remind me.
It was like 10 points.
Giants.
Yeah, the Giants. Yeah, so they covered pretty easily. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it was Monday Night, right? Monday Night Football. Yeah. Eli was like
old Eli game.
The Eli game. Yeah. So, and again, like we said last week about the 10 points, this week if you flip this around, that would mean if Philly was playing in Philly, they'd have to lay 12 points at this point. Like, who the fuck is Philadelphia laying 12 points to?
No.
Nobody. So I like your call here. A couple of trends to go with you. Skins 5-1 in their last 6 as a dog, and Longhorn, we've been kind of riding them pretty much all season in certain spots. And they've been really, really good to us. And if you think 5-1 as a dog, well, they've been an underdog in every single game they've played except for one this year. So that's in a lot of spots. Philly 4-9 as a favorite between 3.5 to 10 in their last 13. And now this is on the road. And last week, I think I saw somewhere with whichever one of the McCown brothers are still alive and kicking in the NFL. I think they lined him up at receiver.
I'm sure they're all alive.
No, I think we kill them as they exit the league because there's too many of them.
No,
nobody can keep up with those.
Have you seen the hair on those McCown brothers? Their hair is freaking it's strong hair game. They're gonna live forever.
They got the good hair. They definitely got the Ryan Fitzpatrick good hair. That's for sure. Go Skins. All right, moving on. Chicago goes to Green Bay, and they're 4.5-point road dog.
All right, where did I put this game? All right, there it is. So we have been fading Green Bay all year long, it seems, and for good reason. The record just does not match up with the underlying stats suggest they should be. So it's really no surprise that we're on Chicago here. Hakeem Hicks, I always get his name wrong, is coming back for Chicago. He's the big fat run stuffer in the middle of that defense. So that's just a huge boost to this defense. I'm not going to go as far as to say that he's more important to this defense than Khalil Mack, but he is certainly right there with him. Now, this is a little kind of personal side note for me, just because I watch football a little differently. I study in the trenches. I study the linebackers and all that. Roquan Smith is out of this game, and the public is going to view that as a downgrade because he was a first-round pick out of Georgia, and I actually loved him coming out of Georgia. That dude was a badass in college. But here's the deal. I've been saying this for a few weeks on this podcast. That dude is not good. He is not a good football player. He's been a borderline bust, even though he started every game. And I actually did a little digging into it and looked up his ratings on PFF, and they've got him at a 52, which is one of the worst starting middle linebackers in the league. And here's the kicker: the two linebackers that have filled in sparingly when he's kind of come off for a blow or whatnot, their PFFs are 79 and 92. Now, although that's much less snaps, I'm admitting that. But still, their ratings are much higher than Roquan. So bottom line, that dude's just not good and overrated. Now, on the other side of the ball, Green Bay is 27th in defensive rush efficiency and 25th in an explosive play defense. So I look for the Bears to find some success here on offense, and the addition of Hicks and the new linebackers who, they might be better than Roquan. I look for them to slow down a pretty pedestrian Green Bay offense, especially after you get off of that first quarter script that Green Bay does. Most of their success this season has come on the first quarter script. After that, they're pretty pedestrian. We saw last week they jumped out on Washington 14-0, and I mean, after that it was fucking dick. So pretty heavy lean to Chicago here for me.
Yep, a couple of trends to support you. Green Bay 3-7. This was surprising me. 3-7 in their last 10 in December. So you think about having Aaron Rodgers when it matters most. Not great against the spread, at least. And 3-8 in their last 11 in the division. And I only bring that up because on the flip side of that, Chicago is 9-2 in their last 11 in the division. So Nagy has really figured out this NFC North is where, and then Green Bay's really struggled against it. And the Roquan Smith thing, I gotta admit, you've been telling me this, and I haven't really been paying a lot of attention, but since we had money on Chicago, and since I had, obviously, Chicago in my parlay I mentioned earlier, I really watched that Chicago-Dallas game, and the first drive, the Cowboys went right down the field, and even on the touchdown where Zeke got in, Roquan consistently hit the wrong hole. And then on the touchdown, he hit the wrong hole, but that's when he got hurt. I think he hurt his shoulder, whatever it was. It took him out of the game. Yeah. To your point, after he left, the Cowboys stopped being able to run the ball because the guys that came in for him, they hit the right hole. And if you've got good defensive linemen, which Chicago does, really all you have to be is intelligent and timely as a middle linebacker in that system. So I don't know if his athleticism kind of gets in his way or his mind's too slow or whatever it is, I mean, the dude's a phenomenal athlete.
Maybe it's the wrong scheme, the wrong fit for him. Who knows? But it ain't working.
It's not working. Yeah, to your point. And like I said, I really paid attention because you've been saying that, and I haven't really been paying attention to him. But I did in that particular game. And, man, as soon as he went out, they got so much better. So I think you got a valid point on that. So go Bears. All right, moving on. New England goes to Cincinnati. They are on to Cincinnati, and they are minus 10.
Yeah, this is so perfect. Everything ties together in this one. So, on to Cincinnati, and thank God that New England was able to record the sidelines of Cincy last week, because now they may actually have a shot to beat the Bengals here.
Yeah.
I'm really not interested in this game much at all. I'll throw a couple things out and then throw it to you. New England is 8-2 against the spread off 2 straight-up losses. And the average margin of wins in those games are 15 points. But I just can't lay the double digits here on the road with a team that has a quarterback playing as bad as Brady is. Each of the last 4 games, Brady has had a QBR under 40, which is it's just unheard of. So I reluctantly lean Cincy with the double-digit points here.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at, you made your argument earlier about the low total. It's 41.5. You got 10 points. That's a lot of cheddar to overcome in the NFL with such a low point total. And I don't see anything for either one of these offenses to discourage you from thinking that's probably close to the right total. And there's always a million trends, and I usually give them all out for New England, how good they are. But I actually found one. In which this is the worst trend I've ever found in New England, and I don't know how, but it fits exactly in this scenario. New England, in their last 7 games as a road favorite of 3.5 to 10 points, which is right where this is at, they're 2-5. 2-5. Now, you're talking about a team in all situations since their first Super Bowl when Brady starts is 64%. No matter what. Home, away, dog, favorite. Doesn't fucking matter. 64% winner. 2-5 in this particular scenario that we're facing right here. It's not nothing.
I wonder if a lot of that is this year because I know they started off hot this year against the spread, but aren't they like 4 of the last 5 they've lost ATS?
So they started 7-3, and I know they've lost at least 3 in a row.
Right? Yeah, it's trending the wrong way.
So 7-6 on the year, which is probably about as bad as they've done in a season where Brady's actually started.
For sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's only been 6. I don't know how many of those have been this year, but it's pretty crazy that trend is happening right here and in this particular game. And Dalton hasn't been great since he's been back, but he's been Dalton.
He's still Dalton.
Yeah. Talk about good hair. Jesus. All right, Moving on. Let's goes to Tennessee, and they are 3-point road dogs.
Okay. This is a man. This might be the. Let's see. Let me scroll through here. This might be the. Is this the game of the week? This might be the game of the week here. So the first 6 weeks of the season with Marcus Mariota, Tennessee was 31st in passing success rate, and over the last 7 weeks with Tannehill, they are 3rd in passing success rate. And of course, these are all by Football Outsiders rankings. Tennessee is just simply the perfect complementary offense. They are the number 1 passer rating play action team in the league, and of course that makes sense because they're one of the best running teams in the league, specifically over the last 7 weeks. Now let's talk red zone, because red zone is how this game. I think this is how this handicap is going to go with this game. Houston is one of the worst red zone defenses in the league, allowing 68% of trips inside the 20 to turn into touchdowns. And to make things worse for Houston, Tennessee is converting over 70% of trips into the red zone into touchdowns. So when Tennessee gets down into the red zone, expect 7s, not 3s. Now on the other side of the ball, Tennessee isn't the best defense, either, and they do have their own struggles. Bottom 3rd in pressure rate, and Watson is one of the higher rated quarterbacks when not pressured. And also Tennessee is a below average red zone defense, allowing 60% of drives to turn into touchdowns. So I think I'm going to go, what'd you say you got the consensus line at?
3 points.
Okay. I think if it stays at 3, I'm gonna go ahead and lean to Tennessee because I just think they're just kind of a machine that you don't want to get in front of right now. But I'm gonna have a stronger lean to the over here because I just don't think either one of these teams are gonna be able to stop each other. I think it's gonna be up and down the field, lots of touchdowns. Neither one of these teams are gonna be able to hold each other to the field goals. So stronger lean to the over, additional lean to Tennessee.
Yeah, like Tennessee here. Numbers like Tennessee. Tennessee is 6-2 and 3, so 6-2 basically. In their last 8 as a home favorite of 0 to 3 points. That's right where this is at. And Houston is 3-11 on the road versus winning teams. They don't play as fast outside the dome. They don't play as well outside of that dome. And I think Tennessee's won 4 in a row versus Houston, something like that. I think when Deshaun plays Tennessee, they mostly make him look to the left, and that's the lazy eye. So it gets tough for him. It gets tough for him on that side.
No, both teams. Don't be surprised if both teams are approaching 30 points in this game.
I do like Tennessee to cover, so go Titans. All right, Seattle goes to Carolina, and they're 6.5-point road favorites.
Okay. So this is one of the 3 games that I am actually going to go against the computers, and let me disclaimer: the computers are how we make our living. They are, that they're why we're in business. But occasionally I go against them, and I do know that opens the door of opportunity for you to show bet me and to come over the top, and that is fine because there are 3 opportunities for you this week to do that. This is one of them. I really hate this game. Carolina is absolutely awful at stopping the run, and Seattle loves to pound the rock. There's a huge edge at quarterback to Seattle, even though I fully recognize that Seattle just isn't as good as their record suggests they are. And I know that's going to be a huge point that you bring up for your side. I just think that gets negated by the lack of motivation or just a downright quit that could happen on the other side of the ball for Carolina. I know it's a big number on the road. I know it's West Coast to East Coast, but I am going to lean to Seattle and go against our beloved computers.
You said you're taking 3 against them?
Yeah, three games against computers this week. Yeah, this is the first one.
Well, if you're taking 3, I'll take all 3 bets because I'll win 2 out of 3. So.
Okay. Well, there you go. Show bet. You don't even know what the other ones are.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
The computers hit 64.5%. So,
all right.
Good luck to you. Yep, Carolina. They're 7-3 in the last 10 against the spread against the winning team. Seattle sucks on the road. 3-7-1 is the road favorite between 3.5 and 10, and they're an average football team. Average football teams don't go on the road west to east and win by 7 points. So go Carolina. All right, moving on. Denver goes to Kansas City. Kansas City 10-point home favorite.
Ooh, that's up here. Here we go. Okay, now this is a game that me and the computers are right in lock and step. So it's all about Drew Lock and a banged up Mahomes to me. Lock has this is crazy. Lock has the second highest QBR game in the league this season. Now he is behind several of Lamar Jackson's games, but besides Lamar Jackson, he's got the second highest QBR game in the league this season of any quarterback. Now, Denver is still not eliminated from the playoffs, so motivation is still alive for them. Won't be a factor. KC is still the 30th ranked team against the run, and the Broncos have the rushing attack rolling right now with the new threat of the passing game to complement it. KC is coming off a huge win versus New England, so it's a perfect letdown spot for them. And Mahomes will at least have some discomfort in that throwing hand. We won't really know just how much it'll affect him until we actually see it. But it certainly affected him in that game somewhat. So we'll see how he is going forward. It's just too many points to give to this Denver team. And one last game nugget: Denver has the number 1 red zone defense in the league. And holding KC to 3 points in this game will be the key to them covering. When KC inevitably gets down in that red zone, Denver has to live up to that number 1 red zone defense and hold them to 3s. If they do, they will have a fantastic shot to cover this game.
Yeah, I'm with you. Denver, we told you last week, sneaky road dog. They're now 5-1 in their last 6 as a road dog. And to your point, Kansas City is going to move the ball. Obviously, they have Patrick Mahomes and all those weapons. But Denver's got them a little quarterback now who's moving the ball up and down the field too. And not just how do you cover against Kansas City, but how do you beat Kansas City? You score with them. So I think Denver's got every chance to go in there and make this a really good football game.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to those Miami Dolphins go back to New York. God damn, 2 weeks in a row. And this time they're playing the Giants. -3.
Yep, and this is the second game I'm going against the computers. So Miami has been a cover machine the last several weeks and has even managed to win a few of those straight up. They are sitting at 3 wins for the season now. Now, last week, like you mentioned, they did go into this exact stadium, and play the Jets as 5.5-point underdogs and got the cover, clearly, almost the win. Now, a week later, they're playing the Giants in the same building, and they're 3.5-point dogs. So only 2 points less. Now, I know we do different systems for power rankings, but I have the Giants as 4 points worse than the Jets. So that would make the line off here in this game by 2.5 if you give a slight boost to Miami for exceeding expectations last week. So then, with all that said, I am going to lean to Miami because of what I just said.
All right, moving on. We're going to go to Pittsburgh, where Buffalo is 1-point road dog.
Oh, where the fuck is this game? Uh-oh. Did I do this? Here it is. Thought I didn't do this one. Okay, so this one is actually a pretty simple handicap for me. You know what? That's what it is. This game is so fucking ugly to me. I kind of stayed away from a side and took a total. I'm going to take the under here, and that's with this under at a historically low 30. What do you got at 36?
37 consensus.
Oh, it's up to 37. You know, it did down to like 36, so it's ticking back up. And 37 actually is one of the key numbers, over/under numbers. It's kind of like the 3 on the side. So yeah, I love that at under 37. Pittsburgh is number one in the league in quarterback hits, sacks, and takeaways. Josh Allen is pressured on 37% of his dropbacks, and he's only completing 40% of his passes when under pressure. So it's going to be a very long day for Mr. Allen. Now, Juju and Connor should be back for Pittsburgh on offense. That might help them enough to maybe win this game, but I don't see enough offense for either team to get anywhere near the 20. So I'm gonna lean to the under, even with that low total.
Yeah, Pittsburgh in their last 6 at home is 5-1 against the spread, but Buffalo is 6-0-1 in their last 7 road games against the spread. It's basically a pick 'em. The numbers are split on this. It's a coin flip. I don't know what to tell you people. I do know that Buffalo has the edge at quarterback. You don't get to hear that very often, but they do.
Yeah, but against that defense, is he going to look good? No.
Yeah, but Duck Hodges never looks good against anybody's defense. So
and
he especially is not going to look good against Buffalo's defense. So
the first 1 to 10 wins.
All right, moving on. Jacksonville goes to Oakland. They're 6.5-point road dogs.
All right, and this will finish the trifecta of me going against the computers. To me, this is all about it being the last game in Oakland in that Coliseum. And Jacksonville has pretty much quit on the coach. They've quit on the season. They will have zero interest in flying all the way across the country, going into that black hole and putting up any kind of strong effort. I know what's the consensus at?
6.5.
I know that's a lot of points, but the shot of life and energy of a stadium finale should be enough to cover against a team who has already quit. They're already in vacation mode. They're already planning their off-season vacation. So I'm going to go against the computers here for my third and final and lean Oakland.
All right. Well, Oakland is 3-7 in their last 10 as a favorite between 3.5 to 10, and Jacksonville's 14-5-1 as a road dog, 3.5 to 10, and the numbers are against Oakland. Oakland's just not a very good football team. Of course, neither is Jacksonville. That's why they're 6.5-point dogs to not a good football team. But I think that's enough room for the mustache to wiggle in, and I think John Gruden, maybe by the end of this game, kills Derek Carr. He's wanted to kill him for years. This might be it. This might be the time where he strangles him to death. with his microphone cord.
He can just throw them in the black hole at the end of the game, and they'll take care of it.
All right, Cleveland goes to Arizona. Your Cleveland Browns are now 3-point road favorites.
Yep, not my Cleveland Browns, but I'll make this one quick because I really don't care too much for this game. To me, this comes down to who wants to stick it to the other person more in this game. You got Baker sticking it to the coach who picked Mahomes over him in college, or does Coach Bro want to stick it to Baker for all the shit he had to eat for making that decision? Even though who wouldn't pick Mahomes over Baker?
I was fixing to say, who got the better end of that fucking deal?
I know, but still, this is the first time they're meeting in the pros, so it's kind of a thing there. I'm going to do my cheat lean here and go with a total instead of a side. I like the over in this one. Both offenses will be motivated here because of what I just said. Baker obviously motivated because of sticking it to Coach Bro, and Coach Bro's offense motivated to stick it to Baker, who he's had to eat a lot. I mean, how many interviews has Coach Bro had to do over the years, being asked about that decision and just having to be the mature coach and say the right thing? So I do look for him to try to stick it to Baker here. I think they're going to go up and down the field on each other, so it should land over in a shootout. I will lean that way. Don't have a pick on the side because it's just too much of a coin flip for me.
Yep, algorithms are split, which makes it a coin flip by definition. The funny thing is, if you talk to a lot of tech alumni who are actually tech alumni, which I don't know why you better claim to be that, but if you are, you are. They will tell you that whole thing about him not getting offered a scholarship is a bunch of horse shit. That he was going to get offered a scholarship, but his daddy threw a fit because he wasn't guaranteed the starting position. So that is the reason why that really went down. What's true, what's not, I don't know. I wasn't fucking there, and moreover, I don't give a shit.
Nope.
But I will lean to Cleveland because I don't have a like. I'll lean Cleveland just because, like I was talking about earlier, Arizona's offense is broke. And not saying Cleveland's defense is great, but they had the last, I think, 4 or 5 games. I think they started out averaging 300 and something yards a game. Last 4 or 5, they're averaging like 280. I mean, they're just not good. The league has figured out, Coach Bro's little spread scheme or whatever he had working there. Kyler's really starting to hit that rookie wall, and it's just not going well. And if there's ever a time where your boy Baker is at his best, whatever his ceiling might be, it is when he can be his most fucking petty. And this will be... I will be shocked if he doesn't come out and plant a Red Raider flag on the 50 after they win this game. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
So, yeah. So you're leaning. So you would pick Cleveland to win in a straight up scenario.
If I had to make a pick, yeah, that's what I'd pick.
Okay.
All right, Atlanta. Moving on. Atlanta going to San Francisco, and they're 10.5-point road dogs.
Oh, baby, I love this game. It is all about a bad situational spot for San Francisco. The 49ers are coming off back-to-back game of the year type efforts. That game against Baltimore 2 weeks ago was probably the Super Bowl preview, and they beat the shit out of each other for 3 hours. And then last week was probably the NFC Championship game preview, and it was a maximum effort track meet that ended up with San Francisco with a last-second win. Just 2 weeks of incredible football for San Francisco that has to take a toll on them. Not only that, but coming up after this game with Atlanta, they have matchups against the LA Rams and Seattle to finish the season. So this game against Atlanta is a catch your breath type game, double-digit plus home favorite, and they know they can show up and win this game. On top of that, some injuries did pile up on the Niners over the last couple of weeks. The center is out for the year, and Sherman is out for at least this game. Atlanta's playing with some extreme late-season passion and execution. Quick game nugget, I'll throw it to you. As you know, I am the offensive line guru, and Atlanta finally has they took 2 first-round offensive linemen last year in the draft, and they finally have both of them healthy and playing together. Lindstrom and McGarry are climbing the PFF rankings nicely. McGarry. Yeah, well, and you got anything for Lindstrom, or are you just going to ignore him?
Nah, fuck that guy.
Okay, so and Atlanta is a team. This is kind of I know this is more of a off-season type podcast thing, but Atlanta's a team to watch next year. Those 2 dudes are going to solidify the offensive line. We'll see who they hire for a coach next year, but that cupboard is not bare. So the next coach that comes in, they're going to have another high draft pick because they're not very good this year. But that cupboard's not bare. They got some good foundation pieces. Atlanta's a team to watch next year.
Yeah, kind of like we talked about last week, and I don't remember if we had Atlanta or not, but we just kind of talked about what was motivation or whatever, why they're playing so much better. My theory was they were just too good to be this bad all fucking season. Like, they just had too much talent. Like, they have a perennial Pro Bowl-ish quarterback, whatever you want to say about Matt Ryan. He's definitely upper half of the league. You can't argue that. You got one of the best receivers in all of football and, you know, a couple other really good receivers. And like I said, the offensive line's getting healthy. They've got talent everywhere. So I support your lean here. San Francisco, a couple of trends to support it. San Francisco 0-4 as a favorite of 10.5 or more, and Atlanta 5-1 as a 10.5 or more point dog. I think you're spot on about the motivation not to win, because San Francisco has to win out, and they know it. Like, they have to win this game. Yeah, they have to beat Seattle to get the number 1 seed, because I mean they're literally teetering between number 1 seed and 5 seed. So they're either going to get all of their games at home, or they're going to have to go on the road and play Dallas. Basically, is what if you finish second in that division, that's what you're staring at. So they have motivation to win, but motivation to win and motivation for margin are two different things. And I think the Sherman thing, from everything I read, kind of already lets you know which way they're leaning on the motivation for margin, because I believe Sherman, from what I read, I think he absolutely could and would play if this was a must-win scenario. They know they need to win, and they know they probably will win. And by the way, I know you do the Pro Football Focus thing. I saw is Richard Sherman like the number 2 rated cornerback in Pro Football Focus this year, like for the season?
Yeah, he's way up there. I mean, I'd have to pull it up, but he's having a damn good year.
What a renaissance! Incredible. That's awesome. All right, moving on. Those LA Rams go to them Dallas Cowboys, and they are now 1.5 point consensus road favorites.
Yeah, this is, we talk all the time about how we don't really go over too much of these games together during the week, because we like it to be as spontaneous as possible on the podcast. But this game, however, I feel like we've been talking about all week long, just because it's just an unprecedented line move that happened in this, and there's so many different theories and thoughts going out there about why and what's going on here. I know you talked about this with Choppy on the Degenerate YouTube show that everybody needs to subscribe to, so I will let you take it away, and then I will respond with my lean after.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the theory just kind of boiled down to just if you're trying to figure out any kind of mystery or something that you don't understand in any avenue in life, you basically just have to start with, okay, what is the most important thing that's going on? And the most important thing is obviously the money, right? Because the money is what moves football lines. So the money came in obviously heavy on the Rams, heavy enough to move it from Cows -4 to now Rams -1.5. That's 5.5 point swing. So if you follow that through, you say, okay, that's the most important thing. That's what happened. So now why? The next thing is why. And the first thing would be an injury, right? If Dak obviously broke his leg or something, 5 points, if that's what you think Dak's worth, cool. There's your number, right? There was no injury. There's been no update. There's been no coaches fired. There's been no major thing that would you normally see a line move. And Vegas is so good. In testament to this, remember when Mahomes, we didn't know if Woody earlier in the year. Even when he was out, when it got announced he was out, the line only moved like 1.5 points because they had already set it to where he was pretty much out. They already knew that because they're so informed in what the situation is. They got a pretty good beat on things. So even with a quarterback injury, unless it's like a Teddy Bridgewater middle of the week where his knee just explodes spontaneously in practice, where the line's been set since Sunday, that would be the only time you've ever seen anything like this. So my theory that I floated out there was somebody in the know that's got enough money to move lines enough in the town of Vegas, which you got to have a lot of money to do that, homeboy. And enough people have come in to do that. They've got to be in the know on something. And I know that's something you and I have kicked around all week. The only thing that could possibly be this egregious to move a line this badly would be if they think that this team is about to go lay down on Sunday, just like they did on Wade Phillips in Green Bay all those years ago. Like, that's the only thing at this point that I've ruled out everything else, everything logical. The only thing left is, it's because by the numbers, the Cowboys are half a point better in my power rankings. And if you look at where the line was set at 4 points, well, if they're half a point better, they get 3 at home. That's 3.5. Half a point off, so basically no delta. And they're always going to build in half a point to the Cows because they're a public team with public bets anyway. So they're going to protect themselves a little bit from that. So the number was pretty much spot on from where all the data comes from. And Vegas has the same data we have. It's not like they don't know what we know. But now to be this, so it can't be a thing where, oh, well, they set the line and their line was just that far off. No, that's not how that works. So it's got to be something, and that's the only thing I can think of is that they're going to go down, and if things don't go their way pretty early in this game, they're just going to lay it down.
Yeah, I think there's been so much conjecture on this game. I'm really getting kind of bored with it. I wish the game would just go ahead and play. I see no way in fucking hell that the Cowboys win this game. I see no way that the Rams don't win this game. If it wasn't for Philly, like if Philly wasn't just shitting all over themselves also, like the Cowboys have been ready to quit this season for about 2-3 weeks. But Philly won't let them. So since they're still alive, there's this belief that the Cowboys are still alive, which technically they are, because neither one of these teams can actually win games. But apart from all of that, separate from that, I don't see any fucking way in hell that the Rams don't win this game. I'm all Rams here. I can't go any other way.
Well, something else that I just now thought about. If you're wrong on your sounder from earlier and the Redskins don't win, and Philly does win the game,
I know.
Then that means Philly's got a 1-game lead heading to this game, which would make it even easier for the Cows to lay down at that point.
Hold on. What game times are these two games?
The Cows game's at 3:30.
What time's the Philly?
Play at noon.
Okay. So that is so interesting because if Washington does win that, then that's a tick up for Dallas.
Right.
If Philly wins that disgusting game, it's going to be 16-15. Then it's just a perfect opportunity for them to say, fuck it. I mean, I swear to God, is the winner of this division going to have 7 games? Is that what we're going to have here?
I mean, in theory, they could, because they could lay it down, get blown out, and then beat Philly next week, and be tied, but have the tiebreaker, and then just eke out a win against the Skins in Week 17 and win the division at 8-8. I guess would.
Or I mean, they might not have to win that game. I don't know what the game times are. That Week 17, maybe Philly plays early and they lose, and that game doesn't matter, and then they sit everybody and they get a home playoff game with a 7-9 record.
Oh, one thing that Garrett has proven, he's not going to sit anybody, sir.
That's
Don't
true.
you forget, when they were out of the playoffs, they had to get to 9-7 because, God damn it, they had to finish the process.
I forgot that the logical things don't apply to Coach Clapp, so yeah, I lean the Rams. There's no way they don't win this game.
I'm just ready to see this one happen. All right, moving on. Minnesota goes to LASD, but yes, LA and to the Chargers are 1.5-point road favorites.
Yep, pretty simple handicap for me here. The Chargers are healthy, finally, and the public has not caught up to that fact, and they are just not the 4-8 team or whatever the fuck their record is now. I don't look at records. This current team, yeah, it's not good. We know that, but this current team that they're putting on the field on both sides of the ball, that's not a 4-8 team or whatever they are. So the current team they're putting out on the field right now is closer to the 10-win team that was projected preseason. So Derwin James is back. The other safety Phillips is back. Okung is back. Hunter Henry is back. Gordon has worked out all the rust from the preseason or the early season holdout. This team is completely different and motivated to win some games. And here's the deal. The point differential is still, for San Diego, they're still a plus 38 on point differential. And to put that into perspective, Green Bay is 10-3 with the exact same point differential of plus 38, and New Orleans is 10-3 with a plus 48 differential. So you take that, you add in some noontime Cousins start time on grass. I absolutely lean to the Chargers here in this game.
I think Seattle's 10-3 with a point differential of about 39 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I think there's. Go ahead and I'll look that up real quick.
So yeah, the Chargers. If you don't think they're better right now, you should probably go ask Jacksonville after last week. And then Minnesota 1-4 in their last 5 as a favorite of half a point to 3 points. So close games. They're not winning, not covering. And you mentioned it, you kind of buried the lead a little bit, but noontime Cousins versus any other time Cousins. Oh man, is that night and day. And that is held true all season long. This is a 3:05 West Coast kickoff, which means that's 5 p.m. back in his homeland of Minnesota. So way off that dude's schedule. Go Chargers, go.
I got the plus differential for Seattle, but I don't want to tell you because it's not going to be good for me.
What is it?
It's plus 20, and they're 10-3.
Oh, no!
So they're plus 20. The Chargers are plus 38, almost double. Seattle's 10-3, and the Chargers are 5-8.
Just remember, boys and girls, the football is not round, and there's a lot of goddamn luck that goes into this game. All right, Indianapolis goes to New Orleans on Monday Night Football, and they're 9-point road dogs.
Yep, I've got to lean to Indy on this one, and it's just a case of New Orleans being flat after a crushing loss at home, and a team coming in that will punch you in the mouth all game long. Too many points to give up in this spot. I do lead Indy. Quick game nugget, I'll throw it to you. New Orleans is 7-17 ATS as home favorites coming off a loss, but they are 0-7 as home favorites of 7 or more coming off a loss. So I am 100% leaning Colts.
Yep, we told you last week New Orleans is not a good home favorite, period. And they are 1-5 on Monday nights. So that's all with Drew Brees, obviously. Indy 4-1-1 as a road dog of 3.5 to 10 points, which is right where this game is. And like you said, it is hard to blow out a physical football team. Now, Brissett, yeah, I got it. But still, he's been that way all year long. All that's baked into the cake. It's baked into the numbers. And like you said, they're too physical to get beat by 9 points. It's going to be an ugly, maybe entertaining. I probably won't watch it if I'm being honest. But, yeah, let's go Colts.
All right.
And with that, that was all the wins that were coming in the air tonight, baby! All right, boys and girls, it's everybody's favorite part of the show. It's time for that free NFL pick of the week, baby.
All right, let's go with the team that I hit the sounder on, the Washington Redskins. I look for them to win this game. If they don't, take the points. Should be safe. Washington Redskins plus 4.5, the NFL free pick of the week.
That sounds fabulous. Tell them about that fantastic website one more time.
All right, you Gloryhole Seekers, that's going to wrap up another award-winning episode of the Football Gloryhole Podcast. We thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Y'all come back to the Sports Patio next week, and don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating so we can pay those bills. Hit us up on any of our social medias, and don't forget to subscribe to both our YouTube channels, the Football Glory Hole and the Degenerate with RJ Choppy. And remember, if you're new to this and a little hesitant on placing a bet, we do have weekly and monthly packages as well. Quick reminder that I do the quick hits every Saturday morning on YouTube with additional free picks from our premium picks list. So it's very important that you get in there and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Now, if you're only taking our free picks from this podcast and the quick hits on YouTube, you're so stupid. Stop doing sports all wrong and sign up for our premium picks at our website so we may become partners for life and both Cephas, as always, in a mostly non-sexual way. People, stop throwing away your hard-earned money on the guessing game. let the pros do the heavy lifting. So sign up, tell a friend, and join in on the fun of watching football, drinking beer, and never pay a bookie again.
God damn it, people never pay a bookie again. Steve, it's time I take us out, baby!